Welcome to Magnet Marketers, our weekly live show where we break down the head, heart, and hand approach to building sustainable growth in your business. During each episode, we share actual client marketing best practice examples, strategies, and tactics that will help you generate real results. Our belief? A magnet always works better than being a bullhorn to attract, retain, and build your brand. Ready to dive into this week's Relationship Marketing Training Tuesday? Well, let's get started. Here's your host, Mike Gingerich and Jessika Phillips. Well, yay, hello, and welcome to this week a Training Tuesday Live. Mike is really fixing his hair. Yeah, I love it. Every week, he's got to look good for everyone here, as well as our special guest this week, the beautiful May King. That's always stylish as well. And she's going to be here to help all of us learn how to position ourselves as an industry expert using social media with confidence, as well as how to create this FOMO in our business. How do we create this FOMO in our business? So how can we truly stand out and create this opportunity where others want to be part of our community, that craveability factor. And I'm really, really excited to hear her do this, as well as hear more of her laughs, because she has the best laugh in the industry. But if we've not met before, my name is Jessika Phillips with Now Marketing Group in the Relationship Marketing System. And my awesome co-host, it's Mike Gingerich, the one that's fixing his hair. He's president of a web development and software firm called Digital Hill Multimedia, published author 5 times over, triathlete, runner, biker, and leading business blogger at MikeGingerich.com. How's it going, Mike?
Hey, I am doing well, and the wind was playing with my hair a little bit, so we want to make sure we get that calmed down a little bit before we get going. But very excited here today to welcome all the way from the UK. We have with us May King Tsang, otherwise known as May King T. And let me give you a little bit more background. She's the original FOMO-Creator and live social media content producer, bridging the gap between social media and PR for conferences, events, challenges, product launches, service launches, charity launches, all those kinds of things, generating that buzz so that people have that fear of missing out. So welcome, May King.
Hi, everybody. How is everyone today?
We are doing good. And Tim says hello to you. Jacqueline says, Mike, that must have been some crazy wind, I think, when you were biking or something. And Olivia says she's excited to be here for a Training Tuesday, as are we, Miss Olivia. So yeah, let us know where you're joining in from and listening in from as we dive into the FOMO in our business. So May King, first of all, I think it was a couple weeks ago, maybe it was 3 weeks ago when we did a live video, and then I finally got how it was making tea, and you were tying it together. I was felt like those posts where it's I was today years old when I got that, but brilliant. First of all, you just naturally are so witty and do create just this FOMO experience with all the brands that you work with. And I don't know how you tweet so fast. There's all these things that I just admire about you, making. But I want to know, for a little backstory, what got you into the FOMO business, if you will?
Quite by accident, actually. As Mike said, I'm on all the socials as Making Tea. My first name is May King, Making Tea. Cue applause and laughs. Tea was actually my first business. So I managed to generate and build a community very quickly using social media and generate that FOMO and buzz and excitement. I did it for my own business. And then other people were saying, can you do that for us as well? And I said, yeah, sure, no problem. And that's how I got into it. So I started my life as a professional live tweeter, but I've extended that as FOMO-Creator because I'm able to generate lots of Instagram stories or lots of Facebook Lives and Facebook posts and LinkedIn posts as well. I actually did a conference where I actually created a live LinkedIn post per speaker, and there were 22 speakers. So I can generate a lot of buzz and excitement on social media for my clients, and I did it for myself. Other people started asking, "Can you do it for me too?" I said yes, and then that was how it blossomed, really.
That was awesome. You were creating your own FOMO for others. They're like, I want this, like for my business. This is polish. And I know that every time I've seen you at an event or what have you, you were always on this leaderboard of creating these stories, telling the stories from the event, from your vantage point. And it did make people want to be there. But for anyone that's not heard of like the FOMO term, and what is it and why is it important in business?
So yes, great question. I shouldn't make the assumption that everyone knows what FOMO means, but for those of you who are not down with the kids, FOMO means the fear of missing out. And in a business sense, the fear of missing out, it's a good thing. Because when I first went out publicly and said, I'm the FOMO-Creator, I did actually get a few private messages and they said, FOMO? I don't want FOMO. I want JOMO. I want the joy of missing out. But do you want the joy of people missing out on your business? No, definitely not. And so creating that buzz and excitement and creating content for the lurkers, as I like to say, creating that content for the lurkers, for your community who've been sitting on the fence, when they get caught up in that buzz and excitement, they'll think, boom, I want in on that. I need to buy that product from you. I need to buy that book. I need to buy that service, or I need to book onto your next event. So in marketing, in our business, FOMO marketing is actually a good thing. It's not a manipulative tactic, so you talked about magnetic marketing as opposed to bullhorn, and it's definitely about that. It's about recreating that party atmosphere from within your business out onto social media at such a rate where people think, oh my God, I need this product right now.
I love this comment by Tim. He said, FOMOing at the mouth to be at the conference. That's a good one.
That's good. That's good.
That's good. That is like a making kind of comment right there. Seriously. But no, and I haven't really thought about it like that. We talk about, like you said, the magnet, drawing people in, wanting to stick with you, be part of that thing and being craveable, right? Like people wanting more of it. But really, when you think about branding as a business, especially today, where we were just talking about, instead of in real life, we're in virtual life, IVL. Yeah, IVL. There we go. In virtual life, that sometimes we can't get that same energy unless we're showing ourselves, our brand, and what it would feel like to be with us in this moment, whether it's at an event or whether it's, just a day in the life, right? And with your team and things like that. So I really get that. And I think that's the brands that are showing up, like you said, you can tell like your audience wants to be there, and many are lurking without you knowing it, but they're still getting a sense of who you are as a brand. So I would love to know, like, what are some of tell us all your secrets, May, first of all. How do you create this, or what's important for brands to know when they show up to do this?
So I devised a 5-point system to FOMO. It's not going to make you a gazillionaire in 2 months. So it's none of that nonsense, okay? But it is a 5-step process to FOMO, and everything, absolutely everything, starts with your brand. Now, you all know this, all your marketers, all the listeners, you all know this. Everything starts with your brand. And whether you are an agency, whether you work for yourself like I do, we are our own brand. So B is the first in my 5-step plan, which is brand. Everything starts with your brand. So how you look online, when we were allowed to go out and play BC before COVID, I'm very short, I'm 5'3". That's why I wear a hat, because I want to be memorable. I have a big belly laugh. I was born with a belly laugh, but I accentuated it to be memorable. And if people like me, then they may be intrigued by me, right? So R is building relationships, relationship building. Now, I'm talking to the queen of relationship marketing right here, right? So, if you don't know how to build relationships, go and follow Jessika, because she'll tell you how to do it. Really, building relationships is really about how to be a nice human being. And we can all do that, right? Right, Mike? We can all be nice people, right? We can do that online as well. So if you've read something, you're scrolling, because we've all done it, we're lurkers, and we've read something. If you've read something, why don't you tag the person and thank them and say, oh, hey, Mike, thank you for that article. that was amazing. And that is the start of you creating content for the lurkers, because as you start to build relationships with people, if people see your name and they see that you're a nice person because you're commenting, you're sharing, you're helping, that is the first step to, building on top of your brand. A is for authority. So showcasing that you are the number one in your field, showcasing that you know your stuff and you're experienced. And, it's not just about publishing on social media, not just about writing emails. It's also about engaging and being helpful in LinkedIn groups, Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, Slack groups, whatever groups, wherever your communities are. And notoriety. So get famous. And on social media, anybody can be famous. And what I mean by that is, if you've got happy clients, and I'm sure you do, go and tell the world. You've already got a community on Facebook, on Instagram, on any of the socials. So if you've got 1 follower, 10 followers, 15 followers, they're a community, right? So create FOMO within your community by telling the world that, these are my clients. They're very happy with what I've done. These are the results that I've shown for my clients. This is the wonderful feedback that I've received from my blog post. Tell people, create that buzz and excitement, get people, create content for the lurkers, as I said. And then D, when the time is right, is direct communication. So go into the DMs when the time is right. Don't go spamming. But if someone has been liking your stuff, they've been sharing your stuff, they've been commenting on your stuff, go and have a look on their profile. And if you think that they could be a prospect, go and start a relationship with them in the DMs. There you go. 5 steps to FOMO in 3 months. Asterisk. Individual results may vary.
Mike, you need to bring back your comb, because that just blew us all away. And yes, that's my mom joke for the day. But mic drop, first of all. And second of all, I'm a huge fan of acronyms, but that was freaking brilliant. And it's the things that we know, right? But it's still, I think sometimes it's overcomplicated. And we make it overcomplicated. I seen this comment by Tim here. He was like, people need to overcome the fear of relationships.
Yes, absolutely. And, I think that we as marketers, or, as social media marketers or solopreneurs or whoever we are, if we're working for an agency and so on, we're obsessed with creating content, which is definitely something that we need to do. But there's the other side of it as well, which is creating content for the lurkers, which is to build those relationships. And don't be afraid to put a nice comment. And if people say, I ain't got time for that, I need to schedule all my content. Well, if you haven't got time to build relationships with people, you don't deserve to be in business, really. Right?
I love it, Mike. You came with props this week. Where do you subscribe for props? I didn't know. I didn't get the memo. This is great. So, Mike, how do you do this with your personal brand and also with, doing the agency stuff? Is there a balance with the commenting? Do you feel with what May's saying, I'm commenting on, other people's stuff for the lurkers, and, what is your take on that?
I mean, I think, I guess I'm almost needing her to follow up on, there's a lot of noise out there. So if someone is saying to you, how do you cut through the noise? Because someone said, take an event, for instance, they're saying, hey, we're going to have this live event, right? Or this live show. Okay. And then they're saying, so all their work goes into maybe planning the live event and a little bit of promotion, maybe, or something, communication, let's call it that. But then there's a lot of noise. So what's the differentiator? Maybe some ideas on that. Where have you seen that for some others to differentiate, to create that FOMO ahead of time?
Yeah, great question, Mike. Again, using your bullhorn idea that you had in your intro, most people are doing that, aren't they? They're telling the world, hey, I've got an event on. Hey, I've got a product. Hey, look at my discounts, right? It's like, boring. But, creating FOMO is really about, one of the things that, oh, hi, Tony. It's lovely to see Tony. Oh, hi, George. All the tea puns, amazing. So what I love is there's a fabulous film. I think you'll probably I've just about insulted Mike without saying what I was going to say. Mike and Jessika, I'm sure that you are both too young to know the film Truman Show. Do you remember the Truman Show? And with the Truman Show, Jim Carrey's character did not know he was being filmed, right? But we saw every bit of his life, and it was kind of like a soap opera. Now, us as agencies, us as business owners, we can create our own Truman Show, but we have the control of what we want to put out there. And we as human beings are incredibly nosy. We're so nosy. So show behind the scenes stuff, because this is selling without the bullhorn, without the broadcasting, And so, one of my dear friends is so epic at creating FOMO. She is called Rachel Spencer UK. You can follow her on Instagram, follow her on Twitter, on LinkedIn, Rachel Spencer. She has an incredible niche where she has a membership to help pet businesses get more PR, traditional PR, social media PR, and all the rest of it. She creates FOMO all the time. Now, how does she do that? She shows a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And she told me once she printed off all her workbooks for her new intake of memberships. Okay, so people who are joining her members, and all she wrote was, I'm so excited to be sending these workbooks out to, my new members, right? Behind the scenes stuff. And she gave credit to the people who, created the workbook. She had 2 signups from that one post. Now, in reality, is that one Instagram post that generated the 2 memberships? No, of course not. It's the lurking that those 2 people had done all that time, where Rachel had been showing the impact that she's had on her members. This member's managed to get on TV, this member's managed to get in the local paper, this member managed to get on a podcast. And showcasing her members is basically telling the world, this is my membership. It's really good for pet businesses, but she doesn't say it by, enjoy now, and here are my discounts. No, she shows behind the scenes stuff. And that's how you generate FOMO.
I freaking love it.
Beautiful. Yes, beautiful.
Yes, beautiful. I just can't get over those. Those are great.
I love it.
But yeah. By the way, there's a little spat going on in the comments here. George says, Tony Christensen making sounded more excited to see anybody. Sorry for my popularity. So, calm down, guys. You guys are getting FOMO. She's right here. She's right here. She loves you all, right?
Love you, Tony. I love you, George, equally.
No, I love what you just shared about we can create our own Truman Show, really just to have this behind the scenes. And you're absolutely right. Like, I think about this for myself too. And, even meeting you at Social Media Marketing World beforehand, like just seeing that my friends were engaging with you, right? You want to see like, who's this person commenting on my friend's page, and then you check them out and then you see what they're saying, what they're like, you get a sense of them. So it was like, as soon as I seen you like in real life, I already had like a smile on my face, ready to introduce myself. And really that's how I see, like, for clients, as you're talking about, it's not that one post that you put out, but it's that by the time they actually are ready to come to you to introduce themselves or start that sales process, if you will, they've already had this feeling and this smile on their face because they know that's going to be a good relationship, right? That's somebody that's going to be my magnet, if you will, I want to stick with longer and stay with, because it's a match. It's, my kind of people, which I love that. I love that analogy there, because I feel like that's a powerful way to look at it for brands to think about, that's why engagement matters, not just publishing. That's why there's so much more that should be done with engagement than just worrying about what you're pushing out on your own profiles. So love that. Now, question for you. Is there a way that, like, for what you're doing with events or what you're doing like for others, that you are measuring this, or how do you tell brands, because those brands that are still stuck on, okay, but yeah, what's the ROI, if you will, like, what do you tell them to look for as far as like seeing this impact?
Yeah, so for conferences, for digital challenges, it's easy. The ROI is, how many signups did they get, or how many tickets did they, sell? So for my first client, the wonderful Andrew and Pete, and in fact, it was Andrew who came up with the name FOMO-Creator for me. With a coordinated FOMO strategy and social media strategy, after the conference, we managed to help sell 425 tickets for the conference for the following year. So that is a very immediate ROI. For a digital challenge, so I've been taking part in a lot of virtual digital challenges last year and this year. And after the 5 days, how many signups did they get as a result of me being, a part of that? For a networking event, like a monthly networking event, did they get more people join the networking event or webinar as a result of the pre-FOMO that we generated? That kind of thing. But for people who do not have an event or a conference or that kind of thing, you can still generate FOMO by creating a mini campaign. And as I mentioned at the start, with a lot of agencies and business owners, we are obsessed with creating content. But what we could do, and I do this badly myself, so I'm saying this to myself just as much as I'm saying it to all of you guys. But, if you have been invited to be on a chat show, then, market it. It's a big deal. If you've been invited to guest blog for somebody, that's an event. That's a big deal. Don't write about it afterwards and say, "Oh, I was really chuffed to be invited to speak at this event." That's a good post FOMO, but what about the pre-FOMO? Why don't you get people to come to the live? Why don't you why don't you let the world know about, when you've written a blog post or you're about to write a blog post, if you're allowed to, of course, if you're ghost blogging, then that's quite different. But we can measure, whenever anybody comes to us, we should know this already. But when someone comes to us, ask them, how did you find out about me? And was it because of, someone recommended you? Was it because of some comment that was written? Was it because, a Google review? Was it a Facebook review? Was it, something else? And so that's how you can actually measure, to a certain extent, what your marketing, whether it's doing well. Yes, Victor, pre-FOMO, live FOMO, and post-FOMO too. There's three bits. Pre, live, and post. But yeah, you can definitely measure the effectiveness of any product or business, product or service that you have, especially if you're doing a launch. But even if you're not doing a launch, create a little bit of a campaign around it and measure the effectiveness of that.
That's so smart, because also I feel like just in like learning NLP with Stephanie Liu, our brains are wired to close loops, right? So if I can honestly see this, even like you mentioned, if you're doing a blog post, or maybe you're trying out something new with your team, right? Like we're trying out the software, whatever, that you're bringing your community on for that journey to be part of it with you, right? Like, so you talked about behind the scenes, to where then this could be in any industry that you do it, because not only are you bringing people in and building that relationship, but our brains are wanting the answer. What was the outcome of that? I want to follow up. I want to know that outcome, right? And to close that loop in our brains, like that's just psychology. We want closed loops. So I can see that, how that could work in FOMO and in many situations.
And even listen, even if you're having, and there's nothing even about it, but having a meeting with somebody, you can create pre-FOMO, saying, so excited, I cannot wait to be meeting Jessika on a Zoom later on at 3:00 or whatever. Live FOMO, well, you can't really generate live FOMO because it'd be rude because you're having a meeting with somebody, but you can create a LinkedIn post afterwards and say, just had an incredible meeting with Jessika. These were the takeaways that I took from the session. And if you want to know about her, you need to connect here. So, the biggest, I think it was my first business book that I read, but the one that's made the biggest impact is How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yes.
Dale Carnegie, right?
Mm-hmm.
An oldie but a goodie, but people don't do it. People don't listen. They're too busy wanting to inject their words of wisdom and sound like an expert and, broadcast, loudspeaker, you do that. Listen first, you got 2 ears. You got 2 ears.
I need that soundbite, please. I just need that soundbite and your laugh soundbite. But yes, 100%. And by the way, that book, she is not kidding. Like How to Win Friends and Influence People. Hands down, everyone should read that. Everyone anyway should read it. I even got the kids version for my kids, but I paid my team to read it because it is so powerful. It literally just has what it takes to do relationships the right way and just how to show up. So love that you mentioned that book. But yeah, this is a wealth of information, by the way. You're getting lots of making tea comments and tea. George just needs to be here to create like a whole dictionary for you. He said he loves Andrew and Keith. They're amazing people and full of creativity. I love it. I'm sure I missed a couple others of yours, George, but Making's laugh is infectious. I'm cracking up.
Oh, George, you're amazing.
I love it. Yeah. And Victor says, definitely How to Win Friends and Influence People. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Olivia says she loves that book as well. Yeah. So freaking good. Like, May, if you had to give one piece of advice for brands that were just going to do one thing, I know you probably hate this question. I know, because I'm like, this one piece of advice is going to be a run on, but for them to get started, if they're maybe shy or whatever the scenario is, like, what is that one thing when you start thinking about FOMO, the brands can easily kind of dip their toe in to get started with it?
Listen and learn from others. So that's kind of 1 and 1.2. So, we're with the relationship queen right here. Go and follow Jessika, learn from what she does. And when you read her Instagram posts, read it, enjoy it, but look at it from a technical viewpoint. Why is she doing that? And if you're not sure, then, ask her, and maybe, Jessika or one of her team can answer you from a technical viewpoint. Why is that post bloody brilliant? Okay. It's not just about us broadcasting to the world about how amazing we are. And we are all amazing. Of course we are. We've got, we're making a difference in our respective fields. But there are other types of Instagram posts or Facebook posts or LinkedIn posts that are fulfilling the other bits, the B in branding, relationship building, A for authority, notoriety, does it fill one of those gaps? Learn from that and have a look at your own social media and marketing and see how you can actually improve on that.
That is brilliant. And I'm a huge fan of acronyms, and that one, it's like everything there is in there. I was going to say the one tip should be hire making. Okay.
Yes, that's as well. Yes.
This woman, like, she does make some FOMO, because you're always like, anytime I watch the stories, I'm like, oh my gosh, you already get a smile on your face before you even watch the whole thing. It's amazing. But, so May, if people have questions, they want to follow you and get some FOMO in their world, learn how to do it, what's the best place for them to do that?
So, Mike, will you forgive me because I don't have a website? Oh no! Don't give me 100 lines. Don't give me detention. But you can connect to me on LinkedIn. You can connect to me on LinkedIn, King Tsang, Or on the socials, on Twitter and Instagram at Making Tea. Connect to me there. I've got a few LinkedIn articles to explain about FOMO. Oh, I've got a YouTube channel as well called FOMO-Creator. So I've got a few presentations there on how to generate FOMO there as well. So there you go. Teach, educate, and activate. I'm sorry, Mike.
Do you have a preferred social platform? If you kind of navigate or gravitate towards one, where might that be?
I'm a big fan of Twitter. I love Twitter, and I know it's not, it's the poor cousin compared to all the, the flashy LinkedIn and the fabulous Instagram. But it's coming back. It's coming back with a vengeance with Twitter Spaces, rival to Clubhouse. You've got to go and check it out.
Yeah, Twitter. There was just some stats that came out, by the way, the other day. I'm gonna flip on miss the article mentioned, but maybe Julia or one of the team members has it. But they had showed the social platforms that were growing in engagement, and Twitter was the one that was growing like leaps and bounds for engagement on profiles, Twitter and LinkedIn. And I have to agree, like Twitter's been doing some amazing things. And I'm really excited what they're doing with Spaces. They just need to give me access. I'm just saying, because they're out there. Okay. Give a lady a break. Like we want to talk. We got FOMO right now. We got FOMO. We want Spaces. Okay. That's what we call it. So, but May, you are amazing, and I freaking love just talking with you, your energy. Would love to have you back, maybe even have you in Lima at some point, if you can come and share this wisdom with others. But definitely, always a breath of fresh air having you around. So thank you again for your time this week. And thank all of you guys for tuning in and keeping us cracking up and keeping May's laugh coming, because it's great. We'll be back here next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, we hope all of you guys have an amazing rest of your week. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.